Hello. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this fourth round of day 2 of Fantastic Fest. I'd love to see a full room. I'm gonna go very quickly because we have a few things to deal with tonight. First of all, thank you so much to our volunteers, our projectionists, our staff, everyone that helped us put this together, and of course our sponsors. No talking, no texting. Okay. Housekeeping done. Also, you can vote actually for the via the app. It now works. I checked it. I fixed it. The app works. So please vote if you like it. There's an Audience Choice Award. So you're here to see Daniela Forever, which is the new film by Fantastic Fest friend and alumni Nacho Vigalondo. Last time he was here, I hope I'm not mistaken this, but he was colossal in 2016, and he's here tonight with us. But before we start the show and before we intro, we do have a special surprise for Nacho because of his contribution to genre cinema, and we would like to call in Tim League, the founder of Fantastic Fest, to give Nacho the award when he's done taking out his credit card. Come on down, Nacho.
Nacho! All right, so I gotta just walk a little bit spontaneously down memory lane, if you don't mind. Yeah, so 2007, third year of Fantastic Fest. We're really not really sure who we are. We're just kind of defining ourselves. But and who was here in 2007? Holy shit! Well, to me, that's the year that changed everything. Nacho came with his debut feature, The Unfathomably Brilliant Time Crimes. The feature sold to Magnolia. It set up a great relationship with Magnolia that year. But more importantly, we didn't really have this kind of entertainment spectrum built out. So, this is really literally how it went. There was about 25 filmmakers. We'd go do something, and so what are we gonna do tonight? We had no planning at all. What should we do tonight? And I believe it was you, my friend, says very sheepishly. And up until this point, you were a rather quiet and shy, reserved human being. And you said, "What do you think about karaoke?" He's like, "Oh yeah, I can do that. We'll set that up." We set it up, and it was an outrageous barn burner of an evening, and karaoke was forevermore a part of our experience here. But it also, I think, loosened both your guard and my guard, and we became, lifelong friends and collaborators through anything that I've thought about in genre films. Like, well, what's Nacho's take on this? What's Nacho's take on this? From ABCs of Death to putting out his shorts collection. If you haven't gone to Confetti of the Mind, you should check that out as well. But we've grown up in this business together. But more than anything else, you've left an indelible stamp on this very festival. Your personality exists and was defined in 2007, and an unbelievable amount of people in this audience were there. Thank you for being with us for so long. But thank you, my friend. It's been an incredible journey, and because of that, we have something you put on your mantle. It's a service to the genre community as a whole.
Oh my God! Thank you.
I knew I was going to get emotional because since the last time that I was here, the labs has been the bigger. I mean, Colossal was like 8 years ago. So this is the longest that it took me to come back here. So I knew this was going to be emotional, but I'm close to having a panic attack. In more than one way, coming here is going back home. I feel like I was born as a filmmaker in this festival, maybe in this same room, in this same screening room, because I was born the first time I put time cranes in front of a real audience, which you. So I was born here. This is, rather than going back home, this is like having a meeting with your mother and going back inside her. I'm that nervous. It feels like this is it's a huge experience, and the feelings right now are bigger than myself. So what can I say? Thank you so much, Tim. I don't know what to say.
We love you!
Yes, we love you, Nacho. That's the feeling in the room.
So should I talk about the film, or I don't want to talk about the film. I want to talk about you. But I don't know. I think that my career, should we put it like career, up to this point, has been kind of really weird, like all along. Like this is my fifth film, and there were times in which this is a story. I mean, the details of the story is something that I can tell later when we're drunk. But there were times in which I was closer to enter the franchise Hollywood mystery thing, really close. But there were also times in which I was really close to give up on filmmaking. Both things. And if those two things happen, each one of them, I wouldn't be here tonight. This movie wouldn't exist. So I'm happy that those two things never happened. I'm still a filmmaker, and I'm not working for Marvel. I think that in each movie, this applies to everything that I've done so far, and this is something that I relate to this festival. Like each movie, I tried hard into turning the process of making a movie into an adventure. An adventure means that we don't know what's actually on the other side. Like when you make a movie and you base the tone and the plot and the meaning into when you play everything into a blueprint, into a template of another film, you know what's on the other side. And with my films, I've been able to be surrounded by people who have shared my belief in making a movie that is not based on another films. Like all of my films, they go up to a place that we don't know in advance how they're going to work. And this is the most dangerous game, because especially now, we as directors, we are told to make movies that work as other films that we remember. And at the same time, as an audience, we are trained, especially these days, to expect movies to feel like other movies. And I've been lucky enough to play a game in which you don't know where each movie is going to take you. And therefore, I'm really proud. And this is something that I relate to these festivals. I mean, I feel like the kind of movies that I watch here in this festival are movies that make you feel like you as an audience are like into an adventure, because you don't know what's going to happen next. And you don't know the kind of movie you're watching, and you don't know the meanings that are hiding behind this film, and you don't know what's going on with the tone and everything. So I'm really happy to be able to make 5 films. And this is the last one, and
Not the last one.
we don't know. I mean, it took 8 years for me to come back here, which means anything can happen. I mean, I had don't worry about, don't be concerned about me. I had a great time, but making movies is something you shouldn't take for granted. And no, not at all. And the method that I use when I make a film is always like, and this is completely real. Every time that I can make a movie, I tell to myself, okay, this is your last film. This is not a transactional thing. You're not making this for glory. You're not making this for the awards. You're not making this for the box office. You're gonna die. And this is gonna be your last film. This is the way it works, I swear. When you are younger, this is kind of a fantasy, like, okay, I know this is gonna be the last one, but you never know. Especially in these times where movies are like a miracle. Yeah, when you get this kind of awards, you're always like, okay, should I retire now? But maybe I retire. That's what I'm saying. I don't know if I.
It's not a lifetime achievement award. It's,
Yeah.
We're not done yet.
I think I should die. Maybe after this. Okay, I'm ready for overdose. Okay, where was I? Okay. Having said that, this is my way to appreciate this kind of recognition, which so far no one else has in the world. Like, it will take a year for someone else to have this prize. So for a year, I'm the only one, the only filmmaker having this prize. And I'm happy to give you something back. This film. Okay, I just want to say one thing. This is I'm really happy and really proud to tell you that you have no idea what this movie is about. And you have no idea where this movie goes. And that makes me feel like we are sharing the sense of adventure. It was an adventure to make this film. I hope it feels like an adventure to watch it. So that's all I can say. And I love you both. I think I could live with you. We could share. I'm ready to have a non-toxic relationship with both of you.
I mean,
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you.
And
really
we'll do a
appreciate
Q&A after the movie. So
this. Okay.
you guys stick around.
Q&A.
Okay, thank you. Well, Nacho Vigalondo. Okay. This is a very special film.
No way.
It feels like a little bit different from what you've done in the past. So this is a love story, obviously. And I was just wondering if you could tell us a little bit about the genesis of the story, of the script.
First of all, I don't think you can put two of. I look like a wrong star. I don't think you can put two of my movies next to each other and feel like they are similar. Like I know what you mean, but in each movie I try to not to bore myself based on what I've done before. Okay, each movie is coming from two different places. One is the stupid narrative device, like this kind of a clever idea that you don't take too seriously. And for example, in this case, I remember that I was thinking about movies having dreams or flashbacks. And I was thinking, what if inside a movie, a character is having, let's say, like a flashback or a dream? For me, it's the same. So they remember something. So the movie jumps inside the flashback or / the dream. What if the movie ends within the dream? We never come back to the real life. What are the narrative implications of that? What if I have like a strong memory and we jump into the memory and then the movie ends and we never come back to the present time? So I was haunted by that idea, but it never came into something like useful. All these kind of ideas, they become a movie when there's another something deeply emotional that you can connect to that. And in this case, the emotional side was my experiences with grief, depression, and addiction. So I found that this horrible state of mind could help me to giving some sense to the other stuff.
Yeah, because I mean, this is one thing, I just watched part of it again. It is clearly, I mean, you kind of depict love really as a monster and as being addictive, which is addictive.
Oh yeah. That's funny because when I read about lucid dreams, I like a blow up, like okay, this is such a real science fiction idea, like that it's close to us. Like lucid dreams are real, and people can have it, and people can talk to you about their experiences within the lucid dreams area. And I know that you can achieve that. Like you can reach the mental state that allows you to live in this kind of alternate reality environment when you're sleeping. But it takes a lot of mental gymnastics. Like it requires a lot of discipline. I was recently diagnosed with a massive case of ADHD. So for me, mental discipline is like Mount Everest. I'm never going to go there. But the fantasy that the movie proposes is like taking a pill, so you can do that, and I can see myself taking a pill. I'm sorry.
But it feels like, so there is the pill, but then to me it feels like you're going from a film that is about reliving, you know, the good times to science fiction at the end. So
Oh yeah, I mean, for me the movie was like I could say that my patron saint is Philip K. Dick, the writer. Like he's the guy I've been like looking up to since I read the books in my college times. For me, this is a Philip K. Dick film. In all Philip K. Dick novels, you get this kind of reality, and this another little subordinate reality, and at the end, the subordinate reality, it's the bigger one. Like, it's like everything goes upside down. And I wanted to make, I don't know if I wanted to make a movie like based in a Philip K. Dick book that hasn't been written, but that was my my ultimate goal. Even if I know that the movie pretends to be like this kind of romantic sci-fi genre that I don't actually like. So for me, it was like a nice way to tell the story.
do we have questions in the audience? Yes, first row. I'm not going to repeat your questions because we have another theater.
Asking about the gray walls.
Yeah.
Like, how close did the visual effects team get to creating what you were picturing when you were writing the movie? What was the process by which they kind of got to it? And
So speaking about the gray walls in the film,
Yeah,
like how
that's-
close was this to what you imagined?
Oh, that's really interesting because the Grey Walls is kind of the, if this movie was Jaws, the Grey Wall is the shark, and the Grey Wall is a presence that is there all the time. And when I was talking to Boris, the VFX guy, I was like, okay, what is, how can you describe as a substance that is a lack of information? Like the first time the guy dreams, he has no information apart from her and the cell phone background. So there's nothing, so it's just a massive gray wall. And later the gray walls represent all the spaces in which he has no information to complete real life. But gray wall invades real life and ends up destroying real life. All I can tell you is that gray walls are lack of information. So we tried different stuff. To be honest, from all the things that we tried, we picked one that made sense and at the same time was not insanely difficult. When I say difficult, I mean expensive. Like, I'm obsessed with the early stages of AI art. I don't like AI anymore. But I liked it a lot, like a couple of years ago, when AI was trying to, like, when AI was, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Will Smith eating
You remember when
spaghettis?
AI was retarded? Like, so we were trying to find something less similar to that, like AI pretending to fill the gaps in this insane way that feels like shapes like meddling with each other. What you got here is like a simplified version of that.
Yes, in the middle, David.
Can you talk about what made you choose to do the aspect ratios and filming styles differently for the real world and the dream world?
Can you talk about the change of ratios between the real world?
So it's Alex here from XYC. So I love you, XYC. Thank you for believing in this film, like, which is like a huge, it's a massive thing. For me, it's kind of a, you know what I told you before we were shooting the film about making movies that don't push the resemblance with other films. I really admire when people, I appreciate when people collaborate with me in my films because I know it's not easy. One of the things that I truly needed the two worlds that in which this movie is based on, you know? Two worlds, okay? Wizard of Oz, real life dream world. So when I was writing the script, I knew that I needed a really like simple, strong way of telling the audience where were we. Because I wanted people to know where we were. Otherwise, if you are in the supermarket scene and you see the green world in the real world, you have to know deep inside you that we are in this side of reality. Are you following me? Okay, this I'm not questioning your intelligence, but my English. Okay, so I wanted, because this movie takes place in two worlds, I wanted to make the biggest difference possible in visual terms. And when I was writing the script, the only thing that came to me was like black and white and color. You know, like I needed something strong. I think there's nothing stronger than that. Because if it's a color tone, if it's like a filter, like an Instagram filter, it's not working in the same way. Like it's not like grainy versus crystal clear. That doesn't work. I mean, you need something really radical. And my idea was black and white versus color. And we were like a month into principal photography, and someone told us, "No way. I mean, you need to be the Coen brothers to shoot something in black and white. Like, there's no way you're going to shoot half your movie in black and white. That's poison for the markets. It's not gonna happen. You need to find something else." And we entered panic mode. I mean, I just have a meeting with my DP, John Diaz. He has been my DP from the beginning, since my short films. And we were like, okay, if it's not black and white versus color, what can be like so radical, so aggressive? And we had this idea of shooting real life with analogic Betacam cameras with magnetic tapes, which is the same crap technology that we were using when we were making short films in 1995. So we were like, okay, what if we shoot, because if you know that the debate is celluloid versus digital, that is bullshit. I mean, if you shoot celluloid with a great camera, you don't get the difference. But in between celluloid and digital, there's a third thing that you people on the internet, you never debate. And I'm talking about analogic magnetic tapes. I'm talking about VHS. I'm talking about Betacam. And we decided to shoot half of the movie with Betacam cameras and Betacam tapes. The real thing. It's not a filter. It's like the real crap technology that we were using like 30 years ago. So when you see the real life, it's like, for me, when I'm sitting there and watch the film, it's like going back in time to the moments in which I was like in college, making short films with the same camera and maybe the same tape that we were using back then, because you know how crazy it is to shoot a movie in which you see suddenly the people who are the camera assistants just like grabbing the tape. I mean the tape, not the hard disk, not the card. No, the tape. Like taking this to the laboratory to. So it was like going back to that technology for real, and it was also a way to compare yourself to the person you were when you were making short films with that same camera. And now, if you watch the movie, I read some reviews that were mentioning this. Like I read that, okay, they are changing the aspect ratio of the film, depending on where we are. We are not changing the aspect ratio. If you're shooting with a Betacam camera, that's all you got. There's no other way to show the footage that in this little box. So we weren't actively trying to change the aspect ratio. We were victims of the technology that we chose in order to make this film.
Can you talk about the casting, Henry Golding?
Oh my God.
Where did you meet him?
Oh, can you imagine that you write this script, which is really faithful to the movie that you saw, and you get a call and they tell you that Henry Golding wants to consider the role. I was like blown out. Like it was like, okay, this is gonna be amazing. Like how lucky I am that with a project like this, which is not the average like movie, you can get to a cast like this.
Was it always in English, or did you change the part of the language because Henry?
So do you have like water? I feel like my mouth.
Yep. Let me get water.
I'm so nervous. Oh,
Thank you.
yeah. Like I'm again. I'm having this panic attack. Okay, so because when I read the script, I never know the kind of movie that is going to end up being. Like, I don't know if it's going to be like a Spanish film shot with a couple of friends, or I don't know if it's going to be an international film. I have no idea, so I just write it in a way that it can be like a modular thing. Like I can change it afterwards. And I had no idea that the movie was going to have this kind of cast, because Henry Golding and Beatrice Grano like shaped the movie in a completely different way. So, first, I thought that I had to turn Madrid into, because for taxes and stuff, we're going to shoot in Madrid. Excuse me, like this is sparkling water. So I had to shoot in Madrid with these actors. So the first idea that you are told to do is like shoot in Madrid as if it was London or New York or something like that. You're used to that. But I thought that was a big pile of bullshit, because if you're forcing a city to look like another city, you're not letting the place to breathe. So I went back to the script and I changed the whole thing so they were tourists, like people stranded in Spain, like completely lost. And so that gave me the chance for them to speak normally, and at the same time everybody else could speak in English without trying to sound like native one. So all the actors were like real people from Spain. All the actors didn't have to like speak in a perfect native English. So that was like for me like a lot of relief. Like I wasn't asking them to pretend that they are foreigners. That gave me a lot of freedom, because